So I had a friend in Malaysia that his master was a really old Japanese guy, and I think he's either since died or just hasn't had students in many years. But they taught real Japanese jiu-jitsu. They fought with MMA gloves before there was MMA. They could kick, punch, throw. And I would get in the ring with this guy, and he had that Lyoto Machida thing where you can't land any kicks or punches on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that weird movement and stance. And I couldn't take him down. I couldn't. If I grabbed him, either I was going for a ride or he was just going to laugh until he, like, hit me. Like, and it was unbelievable. And on the ground, it was like the same thing. Like, he just had phenomenal ground. But he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And then the other funny thing, and this is a teachable moment for two reasons. So one is this, that there is this ancient art, but there's not many people today that actually practice it.
Right.
The other teachable moment, the Ken takeaway, is that my friend Ken had a phenomenal build. He was in great shape. He had this incredible skill. Nobody in the gym could lay a glove on him. He had 2 professional MMA fights, and he quit.
Oh, yeah.
During the fights.
He quit during
no
fights.
heart to fight.
Oh, wow.
And this guy would spar. And we loved having him in the gym, and we were so grateful to have him because he would spar everybody. You know, we get 20 rounds of sparring tonight. Ken's here.
Yeah.
He couldn't fight.
That is an interesting observation because, man, fighting is about so much more than just being technical and physical and all of this. Because if you look at some of the most successful fighters in MMA, they're like bumblebees. You hear that old urban legend about how bumblebees shouldn't be able to fly because they're not aerodynamic or they're too heavy or their wings are too small. Probably not true because they can fly, but they're like bumblebees from that urban legend. Like you look at a guy like, say, Forrest Griffin, for example. I'm not taking any away from him. He's
right.
But he was never the best boxer. He was never the best
wrestler.
Well,
he wasn't even a martial artist, I believe, before he learned MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that dude had heart, man. He had heart.
And he won. I mean, the only time in history that they gave him and his opponent the contract.
Yeah.
You know, because it was just such a phenomenal fight.
That's one of those guys where you would actually have to kill him to stop him.
Yep.
Well, or knock him out like Anderson Silva did. But
yeah, no. But that's a very good observation that you made. Yeah. Like I look at, there's certain fighters who, and again, I don't want to take anything away from them because they're phenomenal, but I can't learn anything from GSP. I can't learn anything from GSP. I can't learn anything from John Bones Jones. These are 2 men who could do things that you and I can't do.
Yeah, like
normal people
jump into somebody's guard and like, all right, jump into his guard and then squish him. Like, what if he's the best jiu-jitsu guy in the world?
Whereas I look at a Daniel Cormier and I go, if you trained your whole life wrestling and that strength and that power, you could, like, it can be done. It can be done. Like GSP, that's like something else from some other planet. You know, him and John Bones Jones inventing techniques and doing weird stuff. Like GSP, like whenever I used to talk about traditional martial arts, Lyoto Machida was the only one, until very recently, Lyoto Machida was one of the only fighters in the UFC who claimed a traditional martial art background, represented a traditional martial art, and when you watched him fight,
you could see it.
You could see it. And he was one of the only ones where that was true. And people would always say, well, what about GSP? He has a Kyokushin background. Show me 1 second of a GSP fight.
Exactly.
It looks
or Chuck Liddell, I mean, Kenpo karate black belt, but he wasn't knocking people out with Kenpo karate.
No, but, and Chuck Liddell, I'd even give you maybe even like a second. Like I'd say Lyoto Machida number 1. Yeah, it's Chuck Liddell. Maybe there's something about the way Chuck moved probably that was Kenpo. I don't know. But, another one is Kong Lee, who I love. I love Kong Lee, right? If you watch he's the most dominant Sanda fighter, arguably, he's ever lived. He's completely undefeated. He won Sanda matches on suplexes.
Yeah.
Right? Goes into MMA, and I mean, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't a phenomenal MMA fighter. He never won a UFC title. He won a title, I believe, in Strikeforce or something. And I mean, I love him, but if you look at his record in MMA, it's mixed, whereas his record in Sanda is just 100% dominant.
Yeah. It's one of those unfortunate things. I wish Sherdog had footnotes in the fight records. Like, this guy also is, a world champion kickboxer or whatever. Like, take, for example, Ramon Dekkers, one of the greatest kickboxers of all time, rest his soul. You look up his Sherdog record because he did I think 1 or 2 MMA fights.
Oh,
he fought
is that right?
Kaoru Uno, that Japanese guy, and just got tooled on the ground because he didn't know how to grapple. And you look him up on Sherdog, and it looks like, oh, this guy sucks.
Yeah, right.
And I just wish there was a footnote. Like,
Yes.
no, he actually doesn't. He's awesome. And
Yeah.
this guy's a legend.
Yeah, I mean, he's up there, right? Like Ramon Decker, John Wayne Parr.
Yeah.
What's it? Andy Zawa, right? Are those kind of the big names?
Yeah.
I don't know if those are still the big names.
Andy Sauer, he's still teaching. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't follow Muay Thai. What I do like about MMA versus anything else is because of Sherdog. The record's out there. Nobody can lie about their record, which is nice, and you can prove it. When you make a claim, hey, I can prove it. It's on my Sherdog record. I like that. Whereas Muay Thai, I kind of feel bad for the guys because there's guys out there with 80 fights, and there's no record of it anywhere. There's a couple of cell phone videos, maybe.
Especially if they started fighting like more than 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
When nobody had a cell phone with a camera.
Yep.
And people now, they just take it for granted that everybody is carrying around a high definition photo studio in their pocket. And 10 years ago, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Like, man, I wish I had videos of most of my old fights. I
Yeah,
had a few little fight clips. And
I don't have any videos of my boxing fights. I know that at least 2 videos exist. I was in Thailand one time signing up for a fight, and someone came up to me and a Thai guy, and he goes, "Oh, I saw you fight like 3 years ago. It's on my phone," and he showed it to me. And this was at a time when I didn't even know that phones could do video.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, I didn't know how to say to him "Oh, can you give me that?" Because at that time, I don't know how you would have given me that video. But I would love to have that video.
File sharing was different back then. Now it's just like click a button, boom, let me airdrop it to you.
Exactly.
And at risk of sounding like an old man telling old man stories about when I was your age, I'm totally that old man right now. When I was your age, it wasn't like this.
How old are you, by the way?
40 years old.
Are you 40?
Yeah.
You're young.
Yeah. That's what I keep telling That's what I keep telling people. They're like, you're 40. Oh, good job, old man. Still doing martial arts. Good job. Pat on the back. Like, 40 is not that old, guys.
I know. That's Nico, the coach in Bali. He always says that to me. He's like, oh, I hope I'm as good as you guys when I'm old. I'm like, first of all, you're better than us, and you're like 40 now. like I can't imagine that by the time he's 50, he's gonna be bad.